Hello, everyone. What is going on? How is it going? I have some interesting housing scenario problem here in Seville, which is causing me a bunch of anxiety attacks. So I don't know if you know, I live in Spain, and in Spain we've been having a very big housing problem with landlords not wanting to rent to locals and want to just take that their houses, apartments, room, whatever they have, and rent it to tourists. Why? The Spanish law says that if you're a landlord and you have a tenant who is a mother or they have a child living in the house, you cannot kick them out, which here only enforces the bad parent. It's not like we're helping the child, we're just pushing parents to not really do much. And there are some occasions where parents are actually not doing their job and they just sit there and say that I'm taking care of the children. They have two children living in a free apartment. The landlord has to also pay the light, electricity, and water bills. In Spain, they call it luz, which is light, electricity. So eventually, it becomes a hassle for landlords to rent to anyone. And everyone has been scared because the system is saying, yeah, not only that you'll be losing this income from rent, but also you're going to have to pay extra to keep these young kids alive because their mother refuses to get a job. Now, what I think should be a solution is if the mother cannot afford and does not have a job or doesn't even want to get a job, she needs to get out. She needs to leave the children because she's a bad influence, and the children should be taken to a different family that actually have their shit together, technically. It's not that complicated. I don't think so. But what we're seeing here is landlords now do not want to rent to anyone because the Spanish government, the law, is protecting the tenants and some tenants, but landlords do not know what's happening. So they're now afraid of all locals. Some people stay and do not pay rent. And even if they don't have kids, it takes like 3, 4, 5 years to take them out of the apartment. So now they don't want to rent to anyone. So here I am. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? I'm looking for apartments and I'm trying to have somewhere to live. I have a job and I'm paying my taxes. But because I'm a freelancer, I don't have a work contract. And this is getting me into a different trouble of, even though you have money, we don't trust you because we don't know how you're making your money. So we're not going to rent you an apartment. What I could do is rent a room in an apartment, in a shared apartment, but I could never rent my own apartment. So I got this website called Uni Places, and they have studio apartments, rooms, and stuff for university students. So the same thing. So I got into the foreign market. So I'm trying to rent an apartment as a foreigner and trying to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm a PhD student. Can I get an apartment so I can work on my research? And I got an apartment. But when I got the apartment, the landlord's like, yeah, no, I cannot rent it to you from the 1st of July. I'll rent it to you from the 4th of July. And I'm like, that's weird. Where am I going to stay for 4 days? Like, no one rents apartments 4 days extra. You have to go at the end of the month. So eventually we agree and I get a room. I can get an Airbnb and stuff. And this was like in April, end of April. I get a message from them yesterday saying, the landlord says, oh, I made a mistake. It's not the 4th of July. It's the 1st of August. I'm like, bitch, no, it's not a mistake. We talked about this. We had another customer service agent talk to you about this and confirm that you don't want me to move on the 1st of July and you want me to move on the 4th of July. So it's not freaking August that you want me to move. So they just want to be lazy, play with the system, probably go on vacation. And this is how I do not like, what I don't like about Spanish culture is they don't make plans. So if a plan comes up, they will skip on other plans because they don't make plans. So here I am, for them, a foreigner, who cares? The law doesn't protect me. I have paid like 800 some euros for the first month and the deposit. And this bitch comes in and says, no, I made a mistake. I cannot let you move in on this day. I'm like, I already paid. You already agreed. We already have an agreement. So I talked to the platform. I'm like, this is unfair. Like, why do I have to suffer for their mistakes? And they're like, yeah, well, we'll see what we could do. We're going to make you move in on the 14th, 15th, or the 16th. And I'm like, I can use the 14th. Like, no, no, no. If you're going to move on the 14th, then we're going to charge you for the whole month because the month is 31 days and you have to move on the 16th. I'm like, how are you going to charge me for a whole month if I move one day ahead? Like, do you not see a problem in this system? Eventually, today, I had to agree because I'm like, yeah, sure, like, whatever you freaking want. I'm going to live there and I'm going to go, whenever I get the key and stay, I'm going to go make videos, rate the whole website and the landlord as really, really bad, not trustworthy, because the whole deal with this website is to ensure that we have a good communication and they have trustworthy landlords. So why are we here again with the same problem? Now, the Spanish landlords here, they have some problems with, if you're a tourist, you're not going to do anything about it because the law is not on your side, because you're not from this area and you cannot go to court and you're not going to be here. Usually people don't want trouble if they're not in their country. Now, I'm a resident here and I played it as a tourist. But then I also, like, this is why the locals do not want to rent to the locals, because they don't want to deal with their own precautions, their own issues, and their own falta de comunicación, lack of commitment. So it's a bit, yeah, it's anxiety eliciting, because now I'm a person who's trying to do things right, paying my taxes, I don't know, a couple of hundreds, 300-400s a month. And what do I get for this? I get no protection, no housing. Like Spain, why would you bring people, accept people, but not really provide the means for the people to stay? Like, why aren't there housing systems from the government? Like, we don't have to go through the locals. And this way we can, you know, get rid of the racism and discrimination, immigration problems. I'm advantaged because, well, I come from a rich country, have money. Imagine someone who does not have money and who does not really have the time and cannot go rent and stay and pay more for a month or 2 weeks or whatever extra, because these people just don't care what happens to you. All they care about is, you paid me, you want what I have, now I'm going to do whatever I want. If you don't like it, cancel it. Like, yeah, but we already agreed. So how do I arrange all my life around the agreement, and then you come a month before and tell me, no, I made a mistake. Actually, I forgot. Or like, just own it. Say, I'm not going to be here. I'm going on vacation and I don't want to be doing this. Like, well, just don't rent your apartment for people if you're not going to be there to take care of the freaking apartment that you're renting. I don't know why. And this is the issue with, let's say, generational wealth. I do not think anyone should inherit any property or income from their parents. Your property and income, when you die, go straight to a fund that would be distributed onto every single newborn in the country. That means if a millionaire dies, if a poor person dies, whatever they leave behind goes back to the state, and then the state will redistribute this as property or income for everyone who is a citizen. So I would be born, or my child would be born, and they would have 100,000, 50,000 euros in their account directly, because of all these people who worked and accumulated wealth from 300-400 years, because their parents back then, you know, they owned slaves and owned land and they didn't work for it. They just chopped some heads, and now we're here circling because we're the good ones and they didn't kill people for property. Like, I don't think this is fair. So I think it is fair that if you want to work, do your time, choose a job that you like, and then get a house, which is not going to be, and this is where people are not going to spend so much time making money when they know the money you're making is not going to go anywhere. I think this will push capitalism to die, because you're going to buy a house that's good enough for until you die. You're not going to be working your ass off to buy and make money so that your kid will inherit all of it and you feel good, and then their kid will inherit it. Like this idea of inherit, I'm doing it for you, for them, is leading people to many issues. Like I know people here who do not have a job and they have their mom's apartment and they run their mom's apartment and make money, and that's it. Hooray! And they're having fun, going to the beach during the week, drinking every day, or whatever. They do whatever they want, and they're allowed to literally be humans and explore, while the rest of us come in with a tag. Now, I have a couple of tags. I have now an immigrant tag, which is going to be like, ooh, I'm not sure I trust you to rent you an apartment because you're a foreigner. And then you have a trans tag. Ooh, I'm not sure I could rent you the apartment and maybe be your prostitute. And then you have many different tags. And I don't have like support from like family because this is something also they ask from you. And the whole system is made on your family is going to take care of you. I'm like, my family wants me. So that's not going to happen. So what do we do? What do we do? Right? So that's the housing scenario in Spain so far. Most people have their parents who have property vouch for them. If your parents or if you don't know anyone who has property to vouch for you, you'll never be able to live alone or get a loan technically, right? So even if you have money, like I'm working, I'm a freelancer, but because I don't have a contract and I don't have someone to vouch for me, I cannot rent an apartment, even though I can pay for the whole year right now. But they're like, yeah, no, not gonna happen, girlies. So what do you think of the housing issue and what is your solution to this? I gave you my solution. My solution is we take property, you die, you're done. All your properties go to the state and the state will give them to people who live there, citizens, at a cheaper price range. This problem of capitalism reaching Spain, of private ownership, was the big issue after the 2008 market crash that led Spain to actually get on hold because everyone kept building things and they're private based on banks or whatever. And then the market crashed and they didn't actually have money to pay for it. They just got loans and loans and loans and there's no money for it. And then the banks own it now and it's not anyone's property. Like, why does the government allow houses to be an asset where you can buy like a shoe, a car? Like these are necessities. Like you want people to work and make money for you. Give them a possibility to have a decent house so you can sleep and possibly there are food stamps. So why are there no housing stamps? There are some, but like the amount of housing provided by government is so minute in comparison to amounts of people here suffering. Because not everyone is suffering. It's just the system doesn't want you to rent. They don't allow you because the landlords don't want to do it. Some landlords literally just make a house as empty because it's safer that way. I'm like, yeah, but like if you're doing this, your neighbor's doing this, your parents are doing this, 70% of the properties are owned by private people who are kind of scared to rent their property, then where do we go? And then you get upset when people leave the country and go to Thailand or China because you don't get a problem renting in China. There's a lot of housing in China. China builds 20-floor buildings in hundreds. Like Spain, maybe you could learn a little bit and like build some skyscrapers to accommodate the people that are literally struggling to get a house. So that's that. This is my hair for the weekend because it's freaking hot. We've been having 38, 39, 40 degrees and I do not have air conditioning. Imagine. See this? That's wet. Yes. I still feel cute, but this is the issue with the apartment because I thought I'm going to be here only for one more month. Now I'm going to have to be for a month and so, or like 2 months and so. I'm like, I don't want to be staying in an apartment with no AC during the summer. My apartment that I paid for, that I'm supposed to be moving in, it was supposed to be on the 4th. Now it's moved. I cannot trust that this person not going to move it again. Has AC, and that was the plan. I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to have a place. Everything was planned for. It was also temporary because this place is not my apartment. I'm gonna have to stay here at least for a year, make some friendships, build my portfolio, do the paperwork. I'm gonna change my tax registration. Like I'm gonna, instead of saying I'm a freelancer, I'm gonna create a business, give it a name, and hire myself, give myself a contract. So I'm paying myself by paying myself. And this is how the system gets played. I'm just sad how the, what do you call it, like the tax person, whatever, did not mention this. Like, anyway, I gotta go have some drinks, get out, find a place with air conditioning. So see y'all later.